All right, we're back. It's another episode.
Yep.
Don't shoot the
Episode
messenger.
2.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna get straight into it again, and I think really we started to kind of flirt with this topic on the episode before. We started to talk about, what is the trajectory of the margins in AI? So the pricing power. Now we want to start to think a little bit more on the actual demand side. What does that demand curve look like in the next year to 5 years? So I'm gonna hit you now with a couple of pretty astronomical metrics.
I'm gonna hear it.
And these are backward looking. And I want to hear off the back of these metrics, what do you think feels realistic to get to over the next 12 months? We call it a game.
Let's go.
So, OpenAI hits 1 billion weekly active users around 3 years after launch. Anthropic allegedly crosses 80 billion ARR, so 80 billion in revenue as a run rate annually. Again, around 3 years or so post-launch. Now, before I ask for an answer, there's a chart that the Financial Times published, which basically looked at how long did it take technologies to get to 800 million users, just as a kind of critical mass.
Yeah.
So it basically took the entire internet globally, and it asked how long did it take to get to 800 million users. I'll ask you now as a question. In years, how many years do you think it took the whole internet to
get to 800 million users? Yeah. I feel like I've seen that before. I was saying maybe like around 11 years maybe. Not sure.
Yeah, you done it before, man. Bro did the required reading.
I think I've seen that before.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You're looking at about 12, 13 years to get to 800 million users.
Fair.
When you look at a ChatGPT, one standalone AI product, it's doing it in about 3 years. So you're talking about a technology just of that one individual product within the whole wrapper that is moving 3 or 4 times the velocity of the entire internet globally. So we need to just have it right in terms of what we're actually doing here and the trajectory of this curve. So the question to you is, if OpenAI can get to 1 billion within 3 years, if Anthropic can allegedly approach 100 billion in just over 3 years, the prevailing narrative at the minute is that they're going to hit diminishing returns and they're not going to be able for it to continue. If we sit here again today in 1 year, where is OpenAI in terms of the number of users? Where is Anthropic in terms of the amount of revenue?
I think, okay, let's play this game. We'll probably check this in 1 year.
Yeah, we have to.
We'll check this in 1 year.
There's accountability on this podcast.
So they're at 1 billion right now. In a year, I say max. Max, they add another, maybe another, like 150 million or something. They probably add another 150 million.
You're sitting here today to tell the audience you think they only add another 150 million users from now over the next 12 months.
So this is weekly active users that you're saying, right? Because I feel like they're getting to, I feel like they're almost getting to saturation. I don't really see how. Max like 200 maybe.
Okay, look, that's the prevailing narrative right now.
Yeah, max like 200.
Yeah, to speak on it. Why is that your projection?
Because I feel like almost everyone who's using the internet right now knows about ChatGPT, and I feel like almost everyone who's using the internet right now already uses it. Now the question about how frequently, maybe that's the.
Now hold on. Hold on. I'm talking raw number of weekly users, raw, no frequency. Just because you know how they do these metrics. They logged in once. They asked one prompt.
Once every week.
1 weekly active user. We're not even doing frequency yet.
Yeah, I don't see how there isn't I don't see how there isn't like most internet users logging into ChatGPT like once a week. I don't really see how that isn't happening. I feel like they'll be very close to. And also, if you look at it, they were 800 million when they said they missed their revenue targets, and this was how many months back? Like
you're getting on, yeah. So to be fair, you're getting on for about what 7 or 6 or 7 months back.
Yeah, and they added, I guess maybe the 1 billion was in. I don't know how recently that was. Maybe that was like 2 months ago. So maybe it took them 5 months or something, 3 months to hit 200 million. Yeah, another year I think it'll be about 200 million.
So you think you think this trajectory is going to continue to slightly slow?
Yeah, I think it's going to slightly slow. I think they're at the point where ChatGPT is on almost everybody's, the lips of everyone uses the internet. I don't think there's much more market for them to take for new people, really. And there's also the fact that some are going to be using Claude instead. Like some people are just going to be using Claude instead, because Claude's market is also, Claude doesn't have that big of a market with the regular everyday consumers. But I think the market is going to start to increase slightly as well. I don't see how. Yeah. I'm standing by it.
Okay,
I'm standing by it.
Listen, you're sticking with
I'm
it,
speaking,
bro.
I'm getting more confidence. I'm getting more confidence.
You're sticking with it, man.
I'm sticking with
You're
it.
sticking with
200, yeah. 200.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So I'm gonna offer again. You know, on this pod we always come with a data. So I'm gonna offer a few things which.
Sorry, just to cut you off a bit. The one I think is harder to say is the revenue for Anthropic, because that was the other one.
No, we get there. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Cool.
Even just straight raw number of users.
Yeah.
I'll offer the case of why I'm a little bit more bullish. So there's actually about 3.5 to 4 billion, weekly users of the internet globally. Meta, everyone. Meta, I mean, I don't know if we even need to explain what they have, but just as a reminder, they got Facebook, they got Instagram, they got WhatsApp. Across their family of apps, as they call it, they get 3 billion. So when you start to think of the total addressable market, the upper limit, really it's only around a third of what they could potentially get and go after. Now, the argument that everyone is making, of course, is that low-hanging fruit's not the best way to describe human beings, but the people who are early adopters and likely to adopt AI probably already use a combination of a GPT and a Claude, probably. So the question is, how then do you educate the next 2 to 3 billion? When I look at the distribution so far, it's basically all just been virality of the hype of the products. There's not really been a really concerted or dedicated marketing campaign that I can see that has really been focused on just increasing the share of users. So with that in mind, and both on the consumer and enterprise side, I don't see why we don't get to where are we at today? You said 1.2? 1.2. We're at 1 today.
A year from now, August 2027.
I think we're at least 1.6. Yeah. I think we're at least 1.6.
So
I think
that's 60% of what they have now.
Yeah. That feels about right to me. When I think of the effort that will go into the acquisition of new users, or the education that will go into the acquisition of new users, when I think about the free tier, and that most of the people actually just don't pay for it at all, around 95% don't pay for a GPT or an AI product at all, the accessibility, I don't see why not. They've shown that they can do distribution pretty organically, putting a little bit of effort into it, putting a little bit of spend into it. That feels penetrable for me.
So at what point do you think that rate keeps staying around that percentage? Like, do you think it keeps staying around like 60% until obviously they get
further than that?
Yeah.
then I think it gets hard because as you say, I always think of it in kind of, it's probably people, segment into 7 or 8, but I think you've got the early adopters, you've got the mass, the majority, and then you've got the laggards who just don't want. When I think there's probably about 1.5 to 2 billion of the kind of slightly later majority, I think a well-executed campaign will capture them. Whereas the laggards, there are some people, look, you tell them about AI, they don't care, man. They don't care. And so I think for them, no matter how much you spend, it might not even be the right economic return to spend on trying to acquire them anyway. So when I think about the year after that, potentially then I start to see the growth curve to just flatten out a little bit. But I'm bullish. I see at least 1.6, 1.8 billion this time next year.
Fair enough. Yeah, to be fair, because something else that I'm probably not considering is there's probably a lot of older generation who don't use ChatGPT. They just do their Google search and that's it, and they get the AI overviews and that's it. But they would use WhatsApp. They probably use WhatsApp because that's critical for communication. Like that right now, almost everyone is on WhatsApp. But as obviously they get older and younger people come in, every young person is using a combination of all the AI tools. So you're gonna have young people coming using this, and that's obviously aside even converting new people. There's new people being born, and 100% they're gonna be using it. Like 100, they'll all be using it. Or at least 99% of them will be using it. So yeah. I think the conversation around the, like I said, we're gonna get to that. But conversation around the revenue.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get to it. Because now, as you were starting to get to, you've got the volume side, just a number of users, but you've got another vector. You've got frequency. So not just how many users, but how much does each individual user use AI? What's their frequency? So that adding that vector in does make it more interesting. So again, I'm gonna pose the question to you again. You're at 100 billion. Let's say just for argument's sake. Let's take the data we have today, right? So it's August 26th. The data says 80 billion today. People laughed at me, by the way, when I said 100 billion by the end of the year, by the way. Let's not forget that. Early this year, I said Anthropic does 100 billion this year. And they said to me, they're only doing 10. What, you think they're going to 10x again? They're not just going to keep 10xing. What, and then a trillion and 10 trillion? But I said, yes, that is what's going to happen. They're going to 10x again, and they're going to do 100 billion in revenue. And it looks like we're here again. So with that in mind, now that we have the extra vector of the frequency, what's your prediction? 80 billion ARR today. What's your prediction? August 2027. What is the ARR of Anthropic?
Damn. I think that is definitely gonna. So with ChatGPT, I said it's gonna be 20%. I think this is definitely gonna be way more than that. And I think the reason is because people who use it now, there's gonna be a lot more power users. There's gonna be people finding more use cases. There's still going to be a lot of people who use it without paying, as ChatGPT has I think about 90% of AI users are paying. But I think the people who use it for the important things are going to use it way more. So I'd say, so there's definitely some new people who don't pay that will start to pay. The people who pay will pay more. So I'd say next year, it's not going to be a 10x for sure. What's on the line out for me? I'd say maybe 3x.
Okay.
Maybe 3x. It's not going to 10x. It will more than double for sure. Because there is still the constraints. The constraints aren't going anywhere. There's constraints on power, there's constraints on chips. The constraints are going to remain. They'll keep increasing their margin as they're doing right now. I would say 3x. 3x sounds about right in 1 year.
So, there's a few different ways to deconstruct it, right? So, your 3x as an outcome, This feels like a McKinsey case. We doing it. But let's just deconstruct it a little bit, right? So if you say they get to 240 billion August next year, the implicit assumption is that the growth rate has slowed. It seems from just inferring what you were saying, it wasn't necessarily on the supply side, as we've seen being able to 3x the compute feels achievable and doable. So supply and capacity of AI
in 1 year.
That's what they've been doing. They've been bringing it online.
I don't think they can still 3x
from here.
Yeah.
I think they're at about 3 or 4 gigawatts now. They've just done another deal. How many gigawatts was the SpaceX deal?
I think it was 1 point something. Am I correctly?
Okay, so you think there's a constraint on the gigawatts of powered compute as well?
Yeah.
So what's your kind of assumption there? Where do you think they get to?
I think that they probably add another maybe another. I don't think that I don't even see them doubling their computes.
Okay.
I really don't see them doubling. Like the ones that come online, they might have deals and say, okay, we're gonna project it to do this. But the ones that come online, I don't even see that doubling.
Okay.
Maybe 1 point, high 1 points, maybe 1.8 or something. Yeah, gigawatt.
Okay. But even then, right, if we talked about a vector of over 3x in terms of the revenue increase versus whatever the compute increase is, that's still a 3x, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
where do you think, on the demand side, what's the limiting factor? What's the constraint?
I think the demand is definitely, the demand is definitely gonna more than 3x for sure. The demand is gonna more than 3x. Okay. I'm in a tight spot. The demand is gonna more than 3x. So the revenue definitely has to more than 3x.
Whoa, that's the question. That's the question, bro.
But if the demand more than 3x, it doesn't mean they have the capacity to
deliver it.
To deliver it. So I don't think they can even match what the demand is going to be, which is why obviously the pricing is going to increase. But I still don't see them going more than 3x revenue, really.
Okay, so you're landing now.
I'm sticking to 240.
You're sticking at 240.
240.
Yeah, you're sticking at 240. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I break it down in a few ways, right? I think about the P, the price, and the Q, the quantity. Quantity itself breaks down into two. You've got the number of users and the frequency.
Yeah.
I think on the margin side, from what we've seen so far, I think you will. If they've got to kind of 80% gross margins, you're obviously going to get to an upper limit. Of course, you've got the threat of the other models slightly chipping away.
Yeah.
It seems that the demand and the kind of the value that is coming from the new capabilities is increasing on the demand side. So let's say they land at kind of 85 to 90% as a gross margin, which is a phenomenal outcome, by the way. So maybe you get a kind of 10%-ish increase on the price side. That gives you something. On the volume side, so the number of users. So I just think, interestingly, I haven't actually seen the breakdown in terms of number of users for Anthropic yet. They keep reporting on revenue, OpenAI users. We know why that is, but so it's I don't know what baseline we're off in terms of the number of users. So just in terms of a multiplier effect, where can we get to if we think there's 3 to 4 billion of internet or would-be AI users out there? I don't see any reason at all why there can't be let's apply the same logic that we applied to an OpenAI, right? So I don't see any reason why there can't be a 1.5x times the number of users, right? So what you got a 10%, you got a 1.5x on that. So okay, fine, you're looking at starting to get to a 65% kind of increase so far. Here's where I think you start to get to something that starts to look like a multiplier. When we really start to think about the frequency and the amount that each individual user actually accomplishes with AI, I think that can 10, hundreds, thousands If they start to unlock some of the capabilities that we think that they're going to unlock in really just purely autonomous AI, it could go vertical. It could go vertical. And so, you know, we talked about a 65% increase mathematically, you know, using the margin increase in the number of users. When I think about the frequency, bro, I'm gonna put that marker at, I'm gonna put it at 350. I'm gonna put it at 400 billion. I'm gonna put it at 350 billion ARR.
So
I'm gonna say
from 80 right now. So that's, that's about 4x.
Yeah, just over a 4x. Yeah, conservative. That's my bear case. Because I'm just so sure. I just think what you can achieve, the amount you're going to want to use it to actually autonomously do things, and the amount of tokens that it's going to need to use to accomplish those things. That's a multiplier for me.
So even if they don't have the demand, they will just increase the pricing.
Well, I think they will have the demand. That's
you
what
think
I'm saying.
they're going to get
the number of users that we talked about there, and I think that the frequency that each
sorry, my bad. Even if they don't have the compute for it.
And the supply side. Yeah. Well, I mean, if they do, it's interesting. You went quite conservative on the amount of gigawatts that they managed to bring online.
Yeah.
The whole point of Elon and SpaceX and his, you know, his wizardry seems to be what everyone says is his ability to accelerate the timelines to bring power and construction online. Just seems to be an order of magnitude higher than everyone else. Even Jensen himself, the big boss, said that himself. Yeah. So I believe that to an extent, and I think they'll surprise people in the amount that they bring online, especially as they can see the marginal return on each gigawatt increase. I think we'll be pleasantly surprised. And yes, the last thing they have is price, and they've seen that they're not having any problem.
Yeah, they can just do whatever they whatever they want.
So. All right, man. Look. We got to something interesting. We both put our markers in the ground. Let's make a note of this, right? August 2027. So you said OpenAI is at how many billion users?
I said they're gonna be at 1.2 billion.
1.2 billion. I said OpenAI is at 1.6 billion. So let's see who's closer.
And I said the revenue for Anthropic is gonna be 240 billion.
And I said 350 billion.
350.
Let's see. We do accountability on this podcast. We're going to find out. We're going to F around and find out.
And we're going to do the clip.
Yeah.
We're going to do the clip.
There's no hiding, man. Cool.